If you try sharing.
Yeah, let me,
Okay, okay, it is 6:38 PM. I am calling the meeting of the Sepulveda Basin Wildlife Area Steering Committee to order. We do have a forum here, and let me just go around the room. We have a combination of guests and voting members, so I'd like to first announce the voting members. We have Steve Hartman, representing California Native Plant Society. We have Narit Katz here for LA Audubon. We have myself, Pat Bates, representing San Fernando Valley Audubon. We have Marianne Davis, who is a designated alternate for Sierra Club San Fernando Valley. We have Joe Phillips representing Sierra Club Angeles chapter. We have Dan Cooper, who made it here. Yes, there you are in the corner. From our Resource Conservation District of the Santa Monica Mountains. Do we have an alternate for Kathy Schreiner? No. Okay.
I'm the alternate. I'm the alternate. Nobody told me she wouldn't be there. Otherwise, I would have come.
Oh, okay. Are you a alternate for? Yeah. For that, Glenn? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way they set it up. Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
this one.
So you're we members with disabilities may participate remotely. And we have one, I believe we have Erin representing Friends of Valley River. And I know that she is home and indisposed. So Erin is online with us.
Here, I have the flu and figured none of you want that.
Yes, we don't. Okay, so who else do we have in the room? Go ahead.
Oh, my name is Paula Flores Nunez. I am with Recreate, Educate, Co-Adapt, or REC.
Okay. Richard?
Yeah, I'm Richard Davis with both San Fernando Valley Audubon and Sierra Club.
Okay.
My name is Paul Taylor. I'm not affiliated with any organization. I was introduced to this by the late fellow in the Neighborhood Council.
Okay. Well,
Thank you.
Kira Durbin, Sherman Oaks Neighborhood Council, non-voting.
thank you. Okay, and online we have Nick Figueroa from the U.S. Army Corps. We have Kathy Lettieri from Senator Stern's office. Bill Neal from California Native Plant Society. Glenn Bailey. Marcelino is here actually in person to do a presentation. We have Ari Cuellar online, and Larry Frank. And hello, Larry. And we have Galaxy A14 5G. Who would that be?
Joshua Martinez, I'm here with the Recreation and Parks.
Thank you, Joshua. We're glad to have you here. Okay, so we've done introductions, we have a quorum. We have a motion, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the February meeting with corrections, which were submitted to us. Do we have a? Sorry, Pat, I'm not sure that we submitted ours. Did you submit?
I didn't submit it.
What are you talking about?
Richard's name is misspelled and I was left off.
Okay, we can. Hold on, sorry. Okay, so for the minutes, we had a number of corrections submitted regarding the presentation by Charles Hanna. We had, let me see here. I'm trying to find where you're telling me it needs to be corrected.
Oh, it's just a note, the people, the voting.
Voting members.
Yeah.
Others.
So, yeah.
I got it.
Richard speak.
Okay, so I'll make a motion with corrections that the minutes be accepted. We have a second?
Second.
Rick, I need a voting member.
I vote.
Okay, thank you. Any objection? Okay. Online? Okay, seeing none. Thank you. We will get those corrected. We'll get them corrected over to Steve to post. Okay, so, we are up to reports from government agencies. And the first one up is Larry Frank, Office of the Mayor. Hello, Larry.
Hey, everybody, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. So, first, a huge shout out to all the work of the Sepulveda Basin Wildlife Area Steering Committee, and special thanks to San Fernando Valley Audubon for the 15K that you guys put up for the goats. We had a really great time. We thought it wasn't even going to happen, but it finally did. 1,000 goats, started with 500. We ended up with 1,000 goats in the basin. We were able to tag the areas where surround the areas where there were some burrowing owls potentially, and pretty much did the full 35 acres. I want to give a shout out to Rec and Parks, who had to do all of the CEQA, NOAA, and NEPA, as well as the Army Corps that green lighted it. They hadn't done one of these before. Rec and Parks had not done one of these things before, so everybody stepped up and figured out how to get it done. And so just want to give some serious kudos for what it took to have everybody work together. Rec and Parks did the nesting bird study for it, did a second one in order to be able to keep them a little bit longer. So they 500 of the goats are now over in Corbin Canyon. It's the first time ever that Army Corps has given a waiver for people to be camping on site. There's a no camping law for the area, so it was a pretty great and fun experience. So I just want to thank everybody for that. And then I also want to thank Dan Cooper, who did the nesting bird study for Zone 11. That's allowed us to go past the March 15th deadline. So we're actually have both Crew 4 from LEFD working next week, and this week we've been out there with River Rangers Conservation Corps. And then I just want to give a quick up on the encampment. So, all told, the strategy is that we're focused on the part of the basin that's most likely to cause embercast into the surrounding area if there were a Santa Ana wind event, which is south of Burbank, and then the LA River to the west of Balboa Boulevard over to the G Line Bridge. And those are the areas that would cause the most concern to communities around the Sepulveda Basin. And so we've been able to do significant work in terms of getting the Army Corps to step up with a $2.7 million contract to take out Zone 6. And Pat Bates, who's identified all the native plants, they got rid of everything that's non-native in that part of the LA River. We're going to need them to step up in a big way. I don't know if we can get that to happen. Nick, we're going to need some help, but before the Olympics, we need the rest of the LA River. to go through the same process. And it's actually been a great step forward on how we're making this happen. We haven't been able to get all the folks that are open to, we've removed 52 encampments. We've told people until we can get, space for you, we're not going to kick you out of zone 3, the rest of the river, or Bull Creek. But this summer, we should be getting the Motel 6 that's just north of the brewery on the west side of the 405, 120 rooms, 240 beds. CD6 up in Sun Valley has about, I don't know, maybe 180 beds coming online in this year. And CD2 has maybe about 90 beds coming online this year. And our best understanding of the number of folks living in the basin at this point comes from park rangers who continue to patrol the areas that we've done the encampment removal in. So we actually are not doing repopulation, and we are doing our best to kind of be able to work with LASA to get as many of the about 70, maybe 80 folks that are still living in the basin, not in zones 11, 12, or 6, which is south of Burbank and west of in LA River, west of Balboa Boulevard, but we're step by step making headway. And we have 2 grants that are going in for LA 28, one for Conservation Corps directly, LA Conservation Corps, one, and they're a maximum $125,000, and there's a resilience area of doing vegetation management. And one for Chrysalis, and we've done a big training with Chrysalis. And they have a number of people that are trained, even qualified on chainsaw, a few others pieces of equipment. And so those, we just got a letter for the mayor supporting those 2 applications for LA 28 funding. And then LA Conservation Corps has $200,000 to $300,000 that they have the right to, and they want to do it in the Bull Creek area. Probably once the nesting bird season ends, September 1. Will be a effort to do that. It'll be after we have given interim housing opportunities to folks in the basin up in the Bull Creek area. We don't know what we're going to do in Zone 3 until we actually get from Army Corps some possible timeline of when that can happen down in Zone 3, which is the rest of the LA River between Balboa Boulevard and Burbank Boulevard. So that's a quick overview, not so quick, but any questions anybody has?
I bet there are. Let me just announce quickly, I accidentally skipped over public comment on non-agenda items. So we'll get to that after the reports from government people. So we'll do public comment on non-agenda items after that. And do we have, I see Glenn has his hand raised.
Hey, Glenn.
Hey, hi Larry, thanks for that wide-ranging update. Just a question in terms of the housing the homeless.
Yes.
So in the past, and I know things can change, but in the past, the sites for the that have opened have been restricted by council district boundaries, I guess is the best way to describe it.
Yep.
So specifically Motel 6, that's in council district 12.
12.
So and those are the few that and CD3 of where I'm told, because we've tried to get people from the Basin placed in the past. So have the rules changed such that
So Rosie has led a really great group that's include the mayor's office that has actually convened CD 6, 12, 4, and 2. 3 is losing their a lot of their housing by shutting down the tiny home village. So they're not really a part of the conversation. But I'm not gonna steal Rosie's thunder because she's done some great work. And there is a little bit of a change. Not so much, it doesn't really apply once everything is opened up, but when things are opening up, I think she's made some headway. So I'll let her kind of answer that question.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I'm sorry, I just jumped on. But I believe the question has to do with how we're dealing with the housing for people experiencing homelessness in the basin. Is that correct?
Yeah, and then why are people stepping up since it's all in your district? Why are other people stepping up?
I
Well,
mean,
the specific question is, in the past, um, the placement was based on where the facility is located. And I was specifically asking about Motel 6, which
Mhm.
is north side of Brosco, so out of CD6, but the closest, I believe, the closest of these three facilities that Larry mentioned.
Yeah.
So, and he said you were working on possibly, so, and of course, folks generally like to be close to where they, or many of them like to be close to where they're actually, encamped. So that's this question was specifically about the Motel 6, being that's not in CD6, and acknowledging that Sun Valley is CD6, but so
Further
that's
away.
Yeah,
yeah.
further away. So ultimately, I mean, I can't really speak on the past, but I know now, at least with the current staff for all of the surrounding council districts, they all, I mean, we all want to help each other and be able to help solve this. So that's why we've been talking to CD12, we've been talking to CD2, 4, and even though 3 doesn't really have any options that are coming up, they still are involved in the conversation, but the basin is one of those special places in the valley where a lot of people from all the different districts take part in and enjoy. So, I mean, it was only right to kind of get all the different staffers together and see if there's anything that we could figure out. Not to mention, just also a good strategy to have across the city of LA for staffers and others to learn a little bit more about just like LASA and the systems that they use, how they do things. So that's what the meetings have been focused around. We have a really good representative. His name is Matthew Mitnick. Some of you may have already met him because he was at the Sepulveda Basin homeless count, but he's been helping move this conversation a lot on the LASA side. So we're going to be using the system that he's been trying to implement, which ultimately is more of a step-by-step approach, but we can, in a way, prioritize the folks in the basin. So when the Motel 6 or the tiny homes, once they open up, they'll already have all the paperwork and everything done so they can be on the top of the list. Because ultimately, what happens is when these tiny homes or these shelters become available, sometimes even the council districts don't get to prioritize their homelessness, or I'm sorry, their homeless individuals, but this way we'll be able to do so. So, I mean, ultimately, it just so happens that it's the perfect timing right now, and we have some housing options in CD12, some opening in CD6, and also a few in CD2. So it kind of works out, but we all know that the basin is an ongoing effort. So this is just going to be the beginning. Not to say that all of those folks are going to be interested in moving indoors to begin with, but the ones that have already given all their information and they want to go indoors, this will be the perfect opportunity for them to do so. And then that way, we'll have a much better idea of how many people are remaining and where they're located in the basin. So, yeah, in a
Yeah.
nutshell.
So,
And then we'll
yes,
go
yeah.
in and we'll open it all up, right?
So the answer is yes. Basin folks, if they wish, can go into Motel 6.
Yes,
That
yeah. So it would be
okay.
the Motel 6. It would be the
That's it.
Sun
That's all.
Valley tiny homes.
Thanks. I just want. Thank you for clarifying Motel 6. Thank you.
Sure.
Do we have any other questions for Larry in the room here?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
So, hi Larry, this is Dan Cooper.
Hey, Dan.
Thanks for making this happen with the goats. Very exciting.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the area between Burbank and Balboa is on target. I just wanted to let you know that that's the main area where the Bell's Vireos and all the rare birds nest. It's not, we're sort of like spinning our wheels doing it at LD Sports Center. There's nothing there. But just so you're aware, we would, we probably will find something from that stretch.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think what you and Pat has gone back through zone 11 and shown all of the just the native trees and has basically made the argument that we need to open them up even further. We need to get some light into some of these areas.
Right.
And so there's a desire to kind of go back and dig deeper and really open up the Encino Creek area to get rid of more of the non-natives, and that's where our focus will be. And then Zone 12 is really going to be summertime or even September before we really go at Zone 12 is the idea. And
Yeah.
so so thank you for the first round. And I know that there's a second that Zone 12 over between Havenhurst and Balboa Boulevard is the next big piece, but it's probably going to be a while before we do it.
Yeah, that's area's mostly native in there. It's
Yeah,
willow and
it's-
stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we're talking about two areas, and
Yeah.
it's hard because, not everyone knows the numbering systems, so,
Yep.
so the area that we're talking about, 11 and 12, I believe that's Encino Creek, that's not
Right.
the LA River.
Right.
Right.
And Encino Creek doesn't have any rare birds, and it almost has no nesting birds because of the chamois ash infestation.
Yeah.
However, the main stem of the LA River is the area that I wanted to point out, because you mentioned that that was on the list for clearing, I believe.
Which one? Which one?
The main stem of the LA River between Burbank and Balboa.
So at some point, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's just what I wanted to flag, that's a completely different
Mhm.
180 degrees from Encino Creek with a completely
Yeah.
different flora and a completely different fauna. And that's something we have to be very careful of when clearing, because it has relatively few non-native species and it has a lot of very rare, not just birds, but other things. So,
Yeah.
just to put that in the back of your head, that's a completely different scenario.
Well,
Yeah.
with that in mind, if that's the case, that sounds like not a good area for goats because they're in this.
No goats. No goats. Yeah. So I think the conversation is September.
Yeah.
And in September, we will work very closely with Audubon and yourself as to how we approach it. But we still would like to go after whatever is non-native and do some opening up of the area.
That's area 3. And I
Yeah.
think the Army Corps already went through and did some work. They've got a
Nope.
problem there with embankments
Shaking
collapsing.
his head no, I don't think they have.
No, they haven't touched it.
Don't like it to me either.
Okay, yeah, Larry's
I
saying
was trying to
that.
respond.
Okay,
Yeah,
Okay, sounds good, Larry, thank you.
okay.
but I think given that you're mostly working for clearance with crews that are not trained on the plant side, so it would probably require some pretty significant coordination to tag the plants and do
Yep.
that whole process, right?
Yeah,
Yep, for sure.
okay.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you.
We're gonna go on to Rosie. From Council District 3.
Six.
Yes, 6. Good evening, everyone.
I've not had a good night here. So.
I'm sure it's been a long day for all.
No worries at all. Okay, as for updates on the CD6 side, so I mean I kind of touched on the housing strategies for the basin earlier, so I won't repeat that. Right now what I'm working on is trying to get quotes from all the different nonprofits that we're involved with through the Office of Community Beautification, along with our own graffiti busters. So I could develop like a long-term median maintenance strategy for the median surrounding the basin. So the goal is to have it maintained a couple of times throughout the year, so it doesn't get super tall and unmaintained. So that's what I'm working on at the moment. In addition to that, we are still continuing all of the Sepulveda Basin improvements, if you will, for lack of a better word. Still working with the mayor's office and all the different departments. I mean, you all know that it's nesting season, so a lot of the vegetation management has kind of either stopped or halted until bird nesting season is over. I don't have any further update from the Olympics or from LA 28. But I do have an update in terms of like funding and grants. So we are in communication with Brad Sherman's office, with Jesse Gabriel's office, and just a lot of our congressional leaders to try and get funding for the Sepulveda Basin. So I've been working on sending over proposals. Obviously, nothing is confirmed yet, but that we are trying to secure more funding for the basin for the years to come. So yeah, those are all of my updates at the moment.
Do we have questions? I do have a question. What's happening with the website?
That is a great question. I did check in with Lamont, and he said he's going to check with Rec and Parks. And that's the last that I heard. So I'm guessing we haven't gotten a response from Rec and Parks yet, but I need to follow up.
Okay, we're all looking forward to it because we really need a really classy site to display basin information.
And ideally, if possible, it'd be great to engage this committee in some level of draft review.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. That's actually we mentioned that too. So yeah, that's without a question.
Great.
Do we have other questions for Rosie? Any of the viewers? Kira?
Rosie, would you like to be in charge of CD3?
I don't think I can take on that responsibility.
Thank you so much for everything you do.
Thank you. Okay, next we have
you.
Joshua Martinez from Department of Recreation and Parks.
Hello.
Hi.
I have no updates. Open to any questions.
Where's our no fishing signs?
We have put in the service request, so we're just waiting on carpentry.
Okay,
I'll give them another follow-up email.
thank you, because we've got a lot of illegal fishing and we'll actually be touching on that later in the meeting, but does anyone else have questions for Joshua at Recreation and Parks? Did you get to see our goats, Joshua?
Yeah, I drive by them every day. Well, I report to the Basin, so my office is out of Woodley there.
Okay. Any other questions? Muriel?
Yes, I was wondering if what has happened to putting in drinking fountains next to the restroom building?
Which restroom building?
The restroom next to the amphitheater and storerooms for the wildlife reserve. They took out the old drinking fountains 2 or 3 years ago. I'm not sure exactly why. And quite some time ago, they said that new ones of a modern design that were also good for filling water bottles were on order. This is well over a year ago, and nothing has happened. And the public needs some drinking water in that vicinity.
I was unaware of the removal of the drinking fountains, but I'll follow up on that and see if there's any movement.
Thank you.
No
Thank
problem.
you, Joshua.
Do we have any more questions? Seeing none. Moving right along, we have Ranger Nick Figueroa from the U.S. Army Corps. Nick?
Evening, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. All right, so I'm filling in for Hannah Whalen today. She's off on training this week, so I'm gonna do my best to keep you guys updated. For the Sepulveda master plan, we are continuing to go through the draft review process. We're just about to finish up the comment section portion of it, and then once that is completed, it will be going off to our Office of Counsel for their review. And I believe the long-term, the end date for this, we're hoping to get it done by around August timeframe. So we are moving right along with that. The inlet channel has been cleaned up. Our maintenance team got out there and removed all the debris from the channel. And they also have completed the mowing portion of section B3 south of Burbank Boulevard. So it's looking good over there. And the last thing I have is we are tracking the Annabelle Godwin event that's coming up on April 4th from MRCA's kayak season that's coming up. So that's currently what I have to report and pending any questions.
I have a question. I'm unclear with the master plan revisions. When will those be available for comment?
The comment period is already completed. That was previously done. We're contracting that out from our Fort Worth district team. And I came in kind of late on being part of that. Our senior park ranger, our previous senior park ranger, Mr. Robert Moreno, was part of that. So I don't have anything prior to that date, but we did receive public comments. I think we had, after we kind of funneled everything together, it came to be about a dozen comments, and those comments were taken into account, and they were either added to the comment portion or the updating of the master plan, and the ones that were either not involved or were not part of the master plan or Sepulveda itself, they were replied back to and notified for that. So
Okay, I know that I think many of our groups submitted comments initially, and then my understanding was a draft of the master plan would be released. And there would be another 30 to 45 day comment period at that point.
I will have to look at that. I do know, Pat, that I do remember seeing your comments on the list as well too, so they have been received.
Okay.
But I will have to get with our team lead on that to see if there is a secondary one. I just know that right now it's about to go through the review process. We're just finishing up some last minute details.
Okay, and last thing, have you been along the river between Balboa and Burbank where the embankments are collapsing?
I know the area that you're talking about. I have not been given any details about the embankment yet, so I would have to check with Mr. Snyder to see if there's been any movement on that, but I don't have anything to report on that currently.
Okay, thank you. We don't want to lose like the 9th hole for Balboa Golf Course or something. But thank you very much for your comments. And I think we'll move along to Glenn. I don't believe we have anyone from the LAFD here. Let me look. I don't know how they make all this text this small. It's unbelievable. Glenn, would you like to say a few words for Encino Neighborhood Council? We see you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, about to give a budget report to Tarzana Neighborhood Council. So if you
Do you
could
have any report for Encino, NC?
Encino Fest, I think the date is May 31st, so end of May. So it's a big event. They expect thousands. And I think I said last meeting, if you wish to, see about having a table or at least having any information from any of the members of groups, you could certainly make that request. That's all I have for now. Thank you.
Good, thank you. Do we have, it's great. Do we have anyone from Lake Balboa that has comments? I don't see anyone. Okay, so we're going to go back to number 3, public comments on non-agenda items within the subject matter jurisdiction of the committee. Do we have any comments, either from our attendees online or in the room? Yeah. Okay. Um. Going, we're up to number 5 now. We have a report from Marcelino Asensio, correct, from engineering on, crossroad. Yeah, they're perfect.
There we go. It's great when it works.
It works.
Here you go. I have a handout for you. I'll pass them out to everyone too, just because sometimes the screen's a little hard to see, so.
Oh, thank you. And why don't we just jump the lights temporarily?
Yeah.
It'll make it a little easier to see over there.
All of them, stand that. Keep all of them off? Just keep one on, maybe. There we go. I think that's good. Yeah, that's perfect.
There, that's visible. Is it focused enough? Let's see.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Okay, great.
Great. Okay, so thank you everyone for your time and having me here. I just wanted to share an exciting project in the works. Right now, it's at a conceptual level. So we're kind of working with different agencies, LADOT, Army Corps, Rec and Parks, to get input on what the project scope will be. Just fundamentally, very simply, it is crosswalk improvements at 3 intersections along Victory Boulevard. I've been there along in the evenings, at the dog park, and traffic flying along Victory Boulevard, just to create better access and safety for pedestrians crossing from the north neighborhoods into the basin. So just fundamentally, that is the scope of work. We have some extras, some nice to haves that we've included that if we can get construction funding, we'll certainly build. But that is that crossing that street, that's just the baseline where we're starting. So I just wanted to start there to give some kind of frame what the project includes, because I do have some other things we would love to include if funding is available. So going down, oops, sorry, up in there. Okay, so I'll give a little more context, high level approach of where some of the design elements came from, some of the kind of ground surveys and pictures we took, and then the actual conceptual design. I'll try to go through it kind of quick because I do have a lot of slides and I know we're short on time. So zooming out a little bit, where did this idea come from? It really came from the vision plan, your guys' involvement and your guys' comments. One thing we heard as far as feedback was just mobility within the basin, along the edges of the basin. It was hard to get into the basin. The other thing, wayfinding signage was something we heard as well. So that is one of the elements of the vision plan, is how do we increase mobility? This is one of the first projects related to the vision plan that we're moving forward with. It's also very timely because, as we all know, LA 28 is fast approaching, right? And so making sure that we have some additional accessibility along that north edge on Victory Boulevard. So just the high zooming out of the vision plan, it's super small, but if you look along Victory Boulevard, there are numbers 9, 8, 11, and it's 11 in 3 places. Project 11 is that kind of improved gateways. And again, I apologize for the small fonts, but that's just an overview of the vision plan. And so this is a little bit more zoomed in. Like I mentioned, it's improvements at 3 crosswalks, Pettit, Havenhurst, and Gloria. And so you don't need to read that because I have some really nice big pictures later in the presentation. And so right now the current crossings along Victory Boulevard is really at Balboa, Havenhurst, and Woodley. And so we're just kind of improving that cadence along Victory Boulevard, creating more opportunities to come into the basin from that neighborhood. And then here is a rendering from the vision plan, kind of the general idea and feel of what we're looking at intersections. So moving more from street light to park light and that transition into the park is really important, and something we thought a lot about with kind of the extra things we wanted to add to the project scope. And so high level approach is finishing and materials. I am very conscious as an engineer, maintenance. Maintenance is the hardest thing that the city does. I'll be the first to admit it. We can build very beautiful things, but maintenance is very hard. So thinking of things where we can blend low maintenance, native, concrete when necessary, right? But really thinking about that maintenance aspect. furnishings where it's maybe a giant boulder that's flat where you can sit, where it has a natural feel to it, things of that nature. And then of course, making sure that we are considerate of native species when we're doing plantings or doing any type of improvements along the park edge. And then where there's opportunity for stormwater and water quality improvements, incorporating that. This is a nice to have element. Like I said, the baseline is crossing across Victory Boulevard, but we were thoughtful in what does that approach into the basin look like? How does it feel? What are the things we can do, or at least plan ahead? So if we get funding in the future, we can implement some of these things. I'll touch on the stormwater thing a little bit more. And so here are some of so Pettit Avenue, we'll start with the first one. Here's kind of the existing condition, the site photos. There's a metro stop there, but there's not really a great way to cross. I mean, you can cross from the corner, but again, during rush hour, the traffic is pretty heavy there. And so here's a nice engineering drawing of the existing site plan. Kind of identifies there's not really a sidewalk or pedestrian pathway. There's the bus stop, but it really lacks amenities. And again, no safe pedestrian passing. And so here's what the proposed conceptual idea is: adding a crosswalk, a striped hawk crosswalk. What does hawk mean? Meaning that it has that flashing light there on the East Lake, right there, Pettit, and then adding a island refuge. So if you can't make it across, or you catch it where it's already mid-signal, you have a safe place to stop. And then on the park side, on the Sepulveda Basin side, opportunities to see if there's boulders, and then improvements to that metro bus stop, right? Side note with the metro bus stop improvements, if it's not actually putting improvements like a shade structure or anything, it's at least setting it up for success in the future. So maybe there's some foundation work where it's below ground, you might not really see it, but it helps reduce the cost in the future when they come to put a big structure there for metro riders. Havenhurst Avenue is the other one. So here's some existing kind of site photos. You can see we're on page 21. There's some construction right there on that orange line crossing. There's that beautiful tree there in the bottom right-hand corner. But again, the metro stop right there kind of lacks amenities. It does have the seating there, but no real shade. So you can imagine in the middle of July, if you're trying to catch that metro and you're sitting there, it's hard to find shade there. And I'm sure, summertime gets very hot. So existing site plan. So here's the engineering drawing that I kind of like to look at, these renderings, page 22. Identifies that existing mature oak, and then that crossing there. Again, there's not really cover, lacking a little bit of amenities. And then this is something we're working with DOT. I don't know if this is going to be the final crossing or what it looks like, but proposing a hawk crossing right there. It might look a little different. The city doesn't do a lot of hawk crossing, so we're right now, again, conceptual phase, getting feedback from LA DOT. What do they think works? What won't work based on their traffic analysis? We might come to the conclusion through engineering that a hawk signal is not appropriate there, and so we'll kind of pivot a little bit. But that was our initial concept, and adding some. Let's see what else we have there. Adding some improvements to that metro bus stop. Again, maybe it's underground, so we set up a future canopy for success, so we reduce the cost there, and. Let's see, oops. And this is also an area where we can put water quality improvements. Our consultant proposed the idea of a hydrodynamic separator. The water part is a little bit out of my element, so I can't go into too much detail, but that would be some coordination with LA Sand because of maintenance, but seeing if there's an opportunity to improve water quality that comes into the basin. And here's a rendering of page, what page is this? Sorry. Page 25, rendering of what that could potentially look like. Like I said, we're still in the conceptual phase, so we're working with our engineers, subject matter experts with the Army Corps to make sure that they provide the input of what is reasonable and what is feasible, because we at the very end, we'd like to deliver these improvements, at least at like I said, the baseline crosswalks before LA 28, right? These other nice to have things can probably come afterwards, but making sure that we as a baseline can deliver these crosswalks to improve that access into the basin. Last one is Gloria Avenue. So again, some existing site conditions, a little bit more shade coverage here, but you can see erode like the grass and kind of the maintenance of that area has seen some better days. And so here is the existing site plan, and then the improvements here is making sure that once you come the refuge island again, and then once you come off of through the crosswalk and into the basin, that it actually connects to the bike path, so there's a continuous hard surface there for accessibility. And so just kind of really looking at what does it feel like when you touch the basin, and then making sure that it's continuity for access, right? The focus really is pedestrian access and safety, fundamentally at the baseline. And so that kind of concludes my presentation, but I wanted to come here to you all and present and get some general feedback and just, yeah, thoughts and feelings, questions, concerns. Yes.
This is great to see. Obviously, you know, access is really critical, and that's an important gateway to the basin. I wanted to see if you'd like to be connected to, there's a group of nonprofits, some of them are actually doing, Neighborhood Council Sustainability Alliance, RCD, and Santa Monica Mountains Fund, and Tree People, among others. I've been working on a project to try and do microforests or native plantings around LA 28 venues along transit as a way to create kind of nature hubs and highlight biodiversity for all the visitors coming for the Olympics, while also adding cooling and all the benefits that we know come with native plantings. So this group is very prepared to collaborate on finding funding and, more importantly, activate volunteers from the community to come and do plantings.
Okay.
And the main thing that they have been looking for is sites. So we have a site identified at UCLA in one of my hats, where we may be doing the first site, but since this is a site that is now identified for these types of improvements, it seemed like it would be a great natural fit to add some understory where there's existing trees and or some native plantings in the sunnier spots. So I'd love to connect you and a small group from this team to talk about how that might work together. I mean, if you manage to get funding and want to plan it all yourself, that's great, but it seems like that's a stretch here, and those are more nice to haves than actually funded part of the project, and so there might be a really nice opportunity here to do something together. And ideally, it would also include, as I think your proposal did too, some interpretive signs that really talk about the native biodiversity of the area, et cetera.
Yeah, short answer is absolutely, that would be great. We do, and I didn't emphasize it so much, but there is some opportunities to include some wayfinding as you touch the basin coming across the street. But yeah, that seems like a great collaboration opportunity. And so yeah. I'm funded for design, and I have some seed money for some construction, but I am not close to, oh, perfect. Yes, I'm not close to having it fully funded. We have rough estimates, and as our design progresses, we can refine the actual construction cost and know what my ask will be. But we're not there yet, but absolutely, yes, I think that would be a wonderful collaboration.
Excellent.
Do we have any other questions? Kira?
Havenhurst has a button.
Yes,
Had it and Florida do not.
correct.
Okay, so the hawk, that's like a hawk comes and picks you up and then lifts you over to the other side of the street.
That would be really cool. That would probably bankrupt the city if we had to do that every time, but
No, I don't know what that is. Should I just Google it?
no, I'll explain that. So hawk crossing, not a transportation engineer, but hawk, yes, HAWK. But what it is it's a light activated, so you push a button, it flashes for vehicles, so that to alert them that someone is coming across. Along Victory, yes.
Wow. Like a fast trap waiting then.
That's the block. Yeah, it's traveling 55 miles.
Right, so again, there is we're in the conceptual phase, right? So I'm here for all comments, but there is at those intersections a pedestrian refuge island, right? So I'd like to point that out if it's rush hour and you're not feeling risky. But the Havenhurst was proposing that hot crossing. It might just be adding another crosswalk on that east side, because I don't think there exists one right now. I'm pretty sure there doesn't exist one right now. But at the other two intersections would be that flashing beacon to provide some notification to drivers that, hey, there's a pedestrian coming to cross the street.
There's a dip in the road there too, where people, they anticipate that when they kind of speed up, they want to. Feel like they're gonna get a little bit of air as they go fast through the dip.
So we'll be touching, well, maybe not the dip, because I don't know exactly where you're speaking of, but at the corners, we'll be redoing the corners, so we'll be making ADA compliant. They'll have the yellow tactile strip, we'll improve or add a new button, right? So there'll be some improvements at the corners as well as the intersections. We'll have to actually redo some of the asphalt where we're touching and striping, new striping in the street. So there'll be some improvements to the sidewalk, to the street itself, and then on the Basin side, the sidewalk, and then hopefully funding permitting, some additional kind of nice to have improvements as well.
Well, I'm all for it, to be clear, morning and curious.
I've been there around 5 o'clock, right at that dog park right there.
You gotta go at like.
I know exactly where you're
There's
talking.
no traffic.
Oh, like 9 PM?
People are going 80 miles
Okay.
an hour.
I have
Yeah.
a question.
Yes.
Larry Frank. Larry,
Hi, Marcelino. Thank you so
Hi.
much for being out today. So let me ask you, since Deborah left, are you the person that's sort of carrying the Sepulveda Basin vision plan?
It is myself and Mr. Shunyu Zhang. As a team, we are yes, that is myself and Shunyu. We are
Fantastic.
carrying the vision plan, yes.
All right. Yeah, I'll try reaching out to you next week if that's okay. That was fantastic. And then, is there an actual price tag in the vision plan projects where it would be? Is there a number that's attached to it at all anywhere at this point, or not really?
Yeah. So within the vision plan, it is number 11.
Yeah.
I'd have to look at the cut sheet at the back to see if it calls out these specific intersections and if it breaks it down enough.
Yeah.
But it is part of the vision plan, project number 11. And then generally speaking, you look at the mobility chapter, it just talks about improving access, a little bit more higher level on access and pedestrian access, reducing vehicle just improving access in general.
Yeah. But is there a dollar amount? So a lot of the vision plan projects have dollar amounts. Is there a dollar amount for number 11 at all, or not yet?
Yeah, I think like rough order of magnitude, and don't hold me this exact number, but I think we're looking at roughly $6 to $8 million. But again, that is with a nice heavy contingency right now because we have not developed any design drawings, and we can really put pencil to paper and refine those numbers once we get closer to 50-60%, right? These initial numbers are always a little bit higher.
Yeah. Well, that's actually doesn't sound like a bad number to me. That sounds, yeah. And then I know the project number 1 was the observation decks and in the wildlife area viewing
Yes.
observations. And so I know that plus others that had a $10 million number, but we talked to Deborah and we got her down to 4 million to just do the observation decks and a couple other small projects.
Yes, I do recall that conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, so that got it down to 4 million. And then object number 2, which is cleaning out the whole Sepulveda Basin, I think had an $8 million number attached to it as well, which we're we're dying to find a way to figure out how to really truly clean up the rest of the basin as well. So those are I think those are the 3 big Sepulveda Basin vision projects that I think are really kind of front and center for us to try to get done before the Olympics. That'd be great.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But we got to raise some money. Yeah. But I see we also have some representatives from the state here. Maybe they're going to be helping us figure that out.
we hope so, don't we?
Yep. I know they're doing some great work. So yeah. Okay. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. One more question over here.
I understand you said you'd be using concrete where possible. I just wanted to emphasize that I heard you say that, and I hope that you all true, because there's too much asphalt,
Yeah.
and because of the heat element, it's just asphalt gets hotter than the concrete, the white concrete. And I just hope you can achieve that.
Yeah, where appropriate. So like absolutely, when you're coming off the street, you know, that curb ramp is what we call it, that has to be concrete, right? So at some point, it just makes sense if you have the concrete guys out there and he's pouring an extra 3 or 4 feet, you know, kind of makes sense. But when you start looking at economy of scales and it's a much larger amount, then you kind of have to do the numbers if asphalt makes sense. But for all intents and purposes, it's mostly concrete to make sure you can connect to that bike path and have just continuity for people with accessibility.
And as a bicyclist, I'm always on that path. And I'm sure you're gonna have the smooth transition from the street to the sidewalk, which won't be that little lip that oftentimes happens. Because when you're driving a car, you don't notice the lip. When you're on a bicycle, you notice that lip. Sometimes it's even more dramatic than it should be. And I'm sure you'll have truncated domes.
Yes, yes, that's per ADA requirements. Yes, we will.
Okay,
Yeah.
of course.
Okay, thank you.
Great, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did we have one more question? Okay, I will stop your sharing.
Oh, yes.
I took care of that. We have Carla Ramos online. She's with CCLA and she'll have just a very few words for us. I think we'll have her presenting next month. And we've got Paola here, so if you want to say just a few words.
Yes.
Any news that you've got, and then we'll move on with the agenda.
What's CCLA?
LA Conservation Corps.
Oh.
Yes.
I always have it asked backwards. Sorry.
All right.
No worries. Thank you, Pat, and good evening, everybody. My name is Carla Ramos from LA Conservation Corps. I'm the conservation program director for our valley sites, and that includes anything and everything that has to do with Sepulveda Basin. So we have been pretty much at the basin, assisting with zones 11 and 12, I believe, since back in July. So 8 months now, and we're happy to report that we are actually in the middle of writing proposals. We actually just submitted one this morning for the LA 28 for $100,000, like Larry mentioned earlier, to do fire fuel reduction over at Bull Creek area. With a secondary grant proposal with funds coming from Prop 4 for a little bit over $200,000 in a second area within Bull Creek zone as well. So we are hoping, fingers crossed, that we get lucky and get these funds so that we can continue doing this vital work out there. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to add more to your time because I know it's pretty late in the evening and I'm sure a lot of people want to go home as well. But we are excited to partake in this, and I would love to have a presentation with more pictures and information about the core entirely, what we're doing, not just at the Sepulveda Basin, but throughout the San Fernando Valley as well. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Carla.
Can I make a comment, Pat?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, just some, along the lines of my LA River comment, it's Dan Cooper from RCD. The Bull Creek is the second site of 3 in the basin that has endangered leaf Sbwasc, and it also has some other rare species. I know you just gave a brief presentation right now, but I just hope to make you aware that the threat of fire from Bull Creek is not from the plants, it's from the homeless encampments. And so the idea that one can go in and kind of thin vegetation and that would fix or improve the fire situation is just not going to happen. It's an area that we've been trying to get the encampments addressed for years. They're persistent there. And so I think that, I don't want to jump the gun and think that I know exactly what you guys are proposing, but we're also proposing an LA 28 grant as well. And so I'm kind of familiar with the guidelines. And I just want to make you aware of that and just be extra sensitive to the fact that, once again, there are very few non-natives in there. It's all fairly rare native riparian vegetation, and the last thing it needs is to be thinned. It's actually the opposite. There's been a lot of trampling in there. It's constantly burned by encampments. And it just needs a lot of improvement. It was an original restoration area that was done as mitigation for damage elsewhere along the Yellow River Basin. And so, yeah, I just want to make you aware of the extreme sensitivity of that site.
Thank you. And just
Can I make a comment, Pat?
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally appreciate your perspective, Dan. So we're trying to figure out it. So I don't know exactly how to say this, except for there's no way really to address the population issue unless we have it a little bit more visible in terms of our ability to have some sense of what's happening in the basin. That's going to be right by where the Olympics are going to be. Our big effort is going to be number one, to be able to offer, housing to the 40 or 45 folks that are in the Bull Creek area right now. And then we want to be able to also be able to remove all the encampments. There's tons of encampments in there that are causing a lot of damage. We'd like to move all the encampments, and then we would love to work very carefully with folks as to what it is we can do to open it a little bit so that it's easier for us to at least see the repopulation issue, which has never been addressed. The only way we ever have, it was addressed briefly in 2019. And so we definitely need your help in figuring out how we can do this in a way that will make it sustainable, our efforts in the basin.
I mean, one thing to think about is that you do have populations of people able to assist in projects, perhaps patrolling the area and monitoring and looking for repopulation might be kind of a better use than trying to clear vegetation that is part of an active mitigation or restoration project. So understanding that you're balancing some different concerns there, I just want to put that out there as kind of another issue. Ultimately, there's no way to really clear like a line of sight from a car or something without significant damage to that area. And so I think we may need to be more creative about how we monitor repopulation in an area like that. I don't know if others would agree.
We have Steve Steve has his hand up. And I will, there is some invasive vegetation getting a toehold in there, and that can be removed. But Steve, go ahead.
So, hi, Steve Hartman with the California Native Plant Society. I was a very active participant in the Bull Creek Ecosystem Restoration Project when it was installed. And it was a great project until the city took the fence down, and then everybody could ride their bikes and bring in their little motor vehicles and do kinds of terrible stuff with it. And it got very degraded. And the problem is that the city also decided not to allow herbicide use on the lands, in the wildlands and anywhere in the city of Los Angeles, I guess. And basically that's your problem. If you would allow appropriate and careful herbicide application by licensed professionals in these wildlife areas, then you would be able to diminish by a huge amount the weeds that are the big problem, the mustards, the thistles. I can go on and on with them. But the problem is, I was walking around the basin today, our dawn patrol was out there, and we're trying to eliminate the mustard along the trail there. And so we worked about 100 feet. There was 3 of us. We spent 3 hours. If somebody with a backpack sprayer would come by, it would take them 5 minutes to do that.
Yeah.
So you can blame it on the homeless people that are causing the fires. You can blame it on the native vegetation that it's too big. But the problem is, it's the understory of weeds that carries the fire and the dry mustard that you get in the late summer and the fall. So you guys can talk all you want about everything, but if you keep herbicide away from the integrated pest management toolkit, you're going to have this problem forever.
Well, so just so you know, the application that LA Conservation Corps has put in for Prop 4 does include addressing the Mexican fan palms, the the castor bean, and a number of the other, and so they have relationships with existing professional herbicide practitioners. And so that part of it, that conversation, but it's a complex conversation, but we are going to do it carefully with, the folks in this room, with San Fernando Valley Audubon, with Dan and his, intelligence on this work. But there's clarity that we have to do this with a lot more finesse than we've been doing down in Encino Creek.
And on the topic of herbicide use, the Recreation and Parks has created a technical advisory for integrated pest management, and I believe that part of the scope of that is sort of reconsidering what, if any, herbicides or pesticides might be utilized and how they're managing invasive pests. The effort is just getting started. I'm on the technical committee, so I will certainly be raising that restoration concern, that there's a big difference between using herbicide to tackle very damaging invasive plants in a restoration area versus using it willy-nilly on a lawn in a park where, kids are playing. So I think there's a lot of different applications, and I have seen policies around herbicides that make that distinction between, weeds on a lawn and restoration applications, and I think the city may be able to address that, so I'll certainly raise that concern soon.
Thank you. I see Rosie's hand up.
Yes, thank you. I was actually going to move to the policy, I guess, portion of where this conversation is headed. But if there is perhaps a motion that CD6 can put in to make this happen, and of course with the input of you all, of the precise distinctions between when pesticides can be used and when they can't, and so forth. I'm sorry if I'm not using the right terminology, but if perhaps a motion is in question, then what I can do is loop you all into maybe like a brief Google Meets with our ledge team, and we can get together and discuss how to phrase this question or how to frame the motion, and then see if our office can help move this forward.
Yeah, I appreciate the offer. I think there might be other more pressing motion related needs, and I would want to be careful with, since Rec and Parks has established a technical advisory with a lot of experts weighing in on this, we might want to wait and at least communicate with them before moving some sort of motion forward, but I'd be happy to talk with you and also connect you to the leads on that effort so that you can discuss.
Yeah, absolutely. That works great for me. Thank you.
I did find out about the technical advisory thing. I know Bill Neal was invited to join it. It would have been nice if the whole committee had been notified of it at some point, but now we all know.
Well, I assume that whatever is produced by the advisory committee, there may be opportunities for input or other ways, and we can also see about having something presented to the committee. It's a citywide effort, not specific.
No, I understand, but we always hope there'll be an opportunity for input, and sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, I can ask about what the public engagement plan or engagement with key committees might be.
Okay. All righty.
I'll be quick. Hello, everybody. Again, my name is Paola Flores Nunez. I am the founder and director of Recreate, Educate, Adapt. I've continued my work this past month with the California Native Plant Society, as well as the Friends of the Los Angeles River. I'm sure Aaron will tell you all about the Habitat Restoration Day that we had. It was super successful this past Saturday. The biggest updates would be that the California Native Plant Society and I are talking about what it looks like to quote unquote pass on the baton and see what it would mean for rec to become point person for different volunteer activities and different types of maintenance throughout the space. So that's really exciting, and I'm very thankful that the California Native Plant Society and the Friends of the LA River are open to their continuing work with and alongside rec.
Thank you. Yeah, it's looking nice over there. A lot of happy little plants. So thank you very much. I think that
Can I add one more thing? On the recreation technical advisory committee, I just want to clarify the capacity in which I was invited is because I serve as the integrated pest management coordinator for UCLA and helped develop a system-wide pesticide oversight staff of the OUC system. However, I think they would be fine with me also helping to represent this committee and liaison with the committee, so I'll work that with them, but that might also kind of give the committee more of a formal voice on it.
I think that Bill Neal was invited to join it.
I believe so, and I'm not sure Dan has had capacity to participate, but he's also on the. I don't know if you even know that, yeah, probably, exactly, I had a feeling we might not have seen that.
Okay.
A little bit oversubscribed. But
Okay.
it's,
Moving right along.
It just started.
We're gonna change gears here. Okay. Item 6, funding for recreation and parks. It's a long, sad story, basically back around 2009. Then, I guess it was Mayor Villaraigosa decided to charge an admin fee to Rec and Parks, which now eats up about 40% of their budget as a consequence of this. The maintenance has been a disaster. It's kind of like the frog in the pot of water. Well, they're cooked, basically. The city did the same thing. It was a budget balancing stunt done during the Great Recession. They did the same thing to libraries. As a consequence, libraries would have been open 2 days a week. And there was an immediate ballot measure to correct that. It was never done for Rec and Parks. So what Rec and Parks, along with libraries, there are 2 city departments that receive charter mandated funding. And Rec and Parks said their charter mandated funding is 0.0325% of the assessed value of property in the city of Los Angeles. And the proposal that's made is basically to double that with a 4-year phase-in. A similar thing was done for libraries, and libraries, they got additional money coming in, and they still do pay their full administrative fee or whatever it is. For Rec and Parks, so it's probably taken at least $1.5 billion away from them since 2009, which has just gutted their maintenance, capital budget, everything. Also, we have Prop K expiring, of course, but that's kind of another issue. So anyhow, San Fernando Valley Audubon has signed on to basically support this charter measure. I don't know as the steering committee would want to sign on, but I want all the members to be aware of it. I personally think it's really, really important to restore funding to recreation and parks. So,
which would be more powerful, like a steering committee letter or multiple individuals signing on?
I kind of think the individual sign-ons, because I guess technically we're kind of a recreation and parks subcommission of some kind. We could,
each of the nonprofits signing on.
Yeah. I have a letter ready to go in. We also signed on to the letter I had attached to the agenda. I've written a new letter with a more environmental angle to it, because, we have so much, especially in the San Fernando Valley, so much of our habitat is in city parks.
Mhm.
We've got Anson Dam, we've got the Basin, we've got Corbin Canyon where our little guys are munching right now. We've got just, so much habitat, and so anyhow, if we would like to discuss doing it as a committee, I'd be fine. I think
that's a great idea, because otherwise you're gonna have to have 7 different groups going that meet with their, and this way we could just get a letter out right away, and we can,
Just get a template, yeah.
And maybe send a template to all the groups so that we can have our boards sign on.
A short, simple.
Mhm.
So there is a motion. Is someone bringing this motion forward, or who's just talking with them? Like, is it city council person?
Yeah, oh, it's in the charter commission. The charter commission has recommended it. The city council will need to approve it and the mayor will need to approve it to get it on the ballot. Because it's
So
a,
these are to encourage council to support the charter committee's
Yeah.
recommendation.
right. So we would, when we, for example, with the group that we signed on. Hold on, just bear with me a second here. With the LA Neighborhood Land Trust, we signed on to their letter along with a whole bunch of other groups. They have a meeting set up with Council District 6 coming up, I guess in a couple of weeks.
For this issue?
For this issue too.
Is Larry, I don't know if Larry's still on, he might have some advice.
Yeah, is Larry? I don't see him. Darn. I think he escaped.
That's what I yelled at him.
Did someone yell at him?
Said here.
I mean, do we want to agree in principle, say, yes, we'll send a letter?
Yes.
And, I mean, I have the draft of the letter I've written for Audubon. I can forward it to the entire committee for any editing, and then we can send it.
Yeah, I mean, it so clearly aligns with the whole mission of our committee.
Right, but we would need, like, for example, RCD would want board approval from RCD, so the sooner it comes, the sooner I can get it on the agenda for one.
Okay, so here's what will happen. Probably not tonight, but tomorrow I will take a look at the draft letter, which I know Mary Ann and I I wrote it and I think you've probably looked. We'll take a look, we'll see how adaptable it is. I may make a few tweaks to it. I will send the like prototype letter out to the whole committee. If we find that acceptable, I guess barring objection, do not send this, then I would I be authorized to sign it on behalf of this group?
Well, for our part, not exactly, well, for the wildlife steering committee, yeah, probably, right? I mean.
I think so, because you don't need every member to agree in order to.
Yeah,
like,
the committee
as long
is
as
its
you have
own
a
entity.
majority, so, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
In the letter, will it state who's part of the committee?
of course,
Okay, so I totally support the idea, yeah.
okay,
And I'm sure there would be no objection for anybody.
okay, so should we make a motion to
Do we wanna do it like pending email confirmation in case any members do need to check with their head of org or whatever, or we're okay with just doing that?
what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Ask for forgiveness.
I think, yeah, so
And this is adding our name, sorry, to the LA and I always get their acronym wrong, Neighborhood Land Trust.
yeah.
Letter? or-
No, I'm gonna take our letter that we're sending just for Audubon, I'm gonna modify it for this group.
Yeah,
And I will send it out to everyone tomorrow,
okay.
and,
And then you'll be listing organizations, not individuals.
I will be listing organizations,
Okay.
and, I will, like, let's say, put a 5 days. Say, oh my God, don't send this,
Okay.
or it's going.
Yeah, or like, I think people could,
Or edit, please consider editing them.
yeah, I think maybe people could you could leave it where, let me know in the next 5 days if you don't want your organization separately listed. I think you can send it on behalf of the committee, whether or not people list their specific organization, leave that to then.
Okay, and it'll be 5 days. You will be receiving this tomorrow. So,
So then I can forward that to somebody and.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
If
there are
they
5
say,
days.
if they say yea or nay, which I.
exactly.
yeah, and then I would we'd remove that organization.
Okay, sounds good. I will confirm with Kelly on, but I think my name probably, my personal name probably can't be included due to my city.
See, it is complicated.
It's a little complicated only with my,
We'll just put the
the
organization.
organization should be fine.
Right.
Okay. Oh, well, okay then. We've got the park ranger issue. The council motion to arm the park rangers keeps rising from the dead. It has risen again. I don't want to spend time on this issue here tonight. I just want to let you know. If we want to have our park rangers armed, there is an open council file. We should all know how to put comments on a council file. And I will be putting mine on. It almost got enacted like last November, and Nithya Raman voted against it. Yaroslavsky and a few of our other folks. The issue is park rangers keep leaving because they're basically, it's a long story, but they basically were armed at one point. Then they got the armed rangers, then were pulled into the general services police. Then the general services police got pulled into LAPD with no plan as to how to deal with the parks. Then the park rangers have kind of backfilled that situation, and now they're unarmed dealing with dangerous situations.
And they go to the police academy store.
And they're post-certified. And, you know, the MRCA rangers are armed. Okay, now, I'll give you a for instance. County park rangers are not armed. They do interpretive stuff in education, but they've got 180 some sheriff's deputies assigned to the county parks. Just like we had at one point. I mean, it's ridiculous, so I will. I'll just leave that with you.
Well, did we send in a letter back in November when this was a long, because I remember discussing it and with several prior meetings.
Yeah, I know, and I've sent in letters, the Encino Neighborhood Council, they just, did a community impact statement supporting it again.
Well, if our position hasn't changed and likely hasn't, just resend those letters.
I don't think we ever took a position on it, did
Well,
we?
did we heard, yeah, I thought we said.
Okay, let me look back in it.
Yeah.
Let me look back, and if we haven't changed our position, I'll reiterate that we haven't, which is exactly what Encino NC did.
Yeah.
Okay, just on to number 8, and again, this is kind of a big deal. We've got a dog problem in the Sepulveda Basin wildlife areas. I sent out a fact sheet on it today, kind of an analysis. Mary Ann did research to help put this together. But basically, under the Army Corps master plan, these areas that are classed as environmentally sensitive should have no dogs on or off leash. That's number 1, and that needs to start being enforced. This is ridiculous. But that can't be enforced because there's no city ordinance that no dogs in there. So what needs to be enforced first and immediately is a leash law. People are using the area east of the wildlife lake and the west field between Haskell and Woodley is a frickin' off-leash dog park. It's horrendous. They're like, I was walking along in what we call it, the west field on Saturday morning, early before taking people on a bird walk. I got knocked into, and I'm carrying a big honking heavy camera, so I get knocked into by this ginormous off-leash dog. And I said a few nice things to the people. And they said, oh, sorry, put the dog on a leash for 2 minutes, then they let the dog loose.
We're
Eh,
familiar with the routine.
they
So
let.
what should we do tonight? You want us to do a motion to?
Yeah, yes, please. I mean, this has gotta be enforced.
Yeah.
That there's ground nesting birds
Well,
in
we
there.
don't, yeah, I don't think we have like a functional enforcement system at the wildlife area.
We don't.
So this is a bigger.
Is
bigger
Reddington still
problem.
I think what we should ask for is we should ask for, number one, that signage regarding the leash law be put up. One. So
So is it, what is
Is he
it?
not even supposed to be permitted in the area?
what?
There's already a sign that says no dogs, it's just.
Yeah, but the code section doesn't support it. That's the problem.
I see.
So wait, my understanding is there are, dogs must be on leashes.
They must.
In the city of LA.
Well, that's what she's saying, but
Unless it's an off-leash dog.
the rule about no dogs is not an enforceable code in the same way that leash dogs
Okay,
are.
It
So I
can't
think
be,
she's suggesting-
to make there are 3 areas, read our memo when you have a chance. There's 3 parks specifically with no dog areas. One was Barrington and a little piece of Runyon Canyon and a piece of Silver Lake. Something. We would need a council motion to amend the LAMC to say also no dogs or cats. We, believe it or not, we've had a cat on a leash being allowed to stalk birds.
Wow.
Which is just special. So we need a council motion to add a portion to be defined. And it really should be the whole areas that are classed as environmentally sensitive.
Yeah,
So that's what Rosie maybe could help us.
yeah, it sounded like she was open to a motion, so maybe that's something we can discuss.
Rosie, are you still here?
Yes, I'm here.
She's probably wishing she ran.
But yeah, that seems like maybe something that we could adjust both those, the clarity of those areas and then
Yeah.
the signage. Woodley Park is huge and dogs are allowed in the whole rest of the park. So I think we need signage that both indicates no dogs here, but also like dogs over there. Like, it's
Yeah.
not that far away,
Yeah,
let's take your dog.
Well, but for starters, it'll take, I'm gonna let Rosie talk, but it'll take a while to get a council motion through and get the LAMC changed. But can we get signs up that say there's a leash law, dogs must be on leash? And if we can get the signs up that say dogs must be on leash, then people can be fined for they can get an administrative citation for having the dog off the leash.
That requires the cops to get out.
Yeah, I think this is so unrealistic, given that there's no cops,
There's no patrol.
no one's patrolling, no one's writing tickets. And signage don't work.
Well, then what are we gonna do?
Well, let's move on to
Oh, let's
another
raise
issue, because it's not.
Well, I think it's worth raising with our city partners, and letting them know that there are serious consequences right now to off-leash dogs and that there are safety hazards. I mean, you're in amazing shape, Pat, but you are also older and that fall could have been really bad, and like people, there are real consequences, people being bowled over by off-leash dogs. And so perhaps from that safety perspective, the broader Sepulveda Basin task force that includes some of the different partners might be able to, tackle this.
I mean, just for now, a leash law with enforcement of. Rosie, what do you think?
Excuse me. I think, I would definitely need to talk to the council member and the ledge team, but I'm happy to, same offer as before. I'm happy to have a meeting with our ledge team and yourselves or whoever else wants to be involved to see how we can frame the verbiage around this motion and then go from there. Ultimately, it's kind of like, I mean, with every other big issue in the city, that yes, we have an enforcement problem and a citation problem and so forth. But if there are signs, and if there, is a park ranger around in that moment or in the vicinity, then it ultimately can be enforced with the sign. So, I mean, I think that we should still kind of put forward the motion, uh, the actual motion, but also figuratively the motion to move this forward. Um, but yeah, I mean, we can talk offline, but I think that we can get started on this.
And I just want to clarify though, I thought they were already banned. Is the issue that they're only banned from the Little Lake area and we want to expand that?
No,
Or like, why would we need a motion if it's already on?
it isn't, because it isn't, they're not banned anywhere.
And Barrington.
So the signage that was up before that said no dogs in the wild.
It's the wrong
It wasn't
code.
backed up.
It's that code is a leash law code.
Got it. So this
We-
would
we-
actually make it enforceable.
So what I'm saying is, for now, get some leash law signs up.
Right. But I think you also said the Army Corps plan says there should be no dogs.
That doesn't matter. The
But what do
city
you
is
think,
policing it.
the motion would make the no dogs enforceable in the same way that the current no leash thing is enforceable?
Right, exactly.
Sorry, that took-
So it would make it like the Barrington Rec Center where there's no dogs.
I've seen dogs there.
Anyhow,
Never perfect, but it
Well-
sounds like it might help.
thanks, Rosie. Okay, we'll continue the discussion. In the meantime, I may carry bear spray. Thank you, Marceline.
Thank you guys, thank you everyone.
Bye. Okay. Okay, we're on the verge of finishing up. Do we have any updates on the river project?
There is no river.
Yes, there is no member available to participate in person, and therefore we do need to do the vote to remove them as a voting member, but then we will invite representatives to participate virtually and continue to honor.
So we'll do that next time.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it tonight. I already asked for our no fishing signs. Haskell Creek blockages and trash, sanitation needs to finish cleaning the creek out.
Yeah, well, they took out the trash, but the blockage is downstream.
I know, and they know, and now we have Bellsperrios there.
That's okay. So maybe we won't fix it right away, but.
I asked about the river. So, reports from member organizations, Steve.
Okay, first off, let's take Gregory Stewart's name off from the Native Plant Society. And let's put in George Waddell, Waddell, for the next couple of months. Okay,
Okay,
he and I are gonna share it until maybe we get somebody else.
Okay.
But I'm gonna be gone the next couple of months, so he gets it. We need a space to put the cart and the hoses and the pumps. Is a representative from the city still here?
Joshua. He's, yes, hi Joshua, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm still here.
Hey, Joshua, we need a place to put the cart that holds the hoses and the pumps for us when we're watering. Our tremendous volunteer, Robert Brzeziak, is retiring from that. And we do have Paola here who's willing to continue the program, but we need somewhere within the basin there near the wildlife reserve to store these items. Now, I think the little room up by the restrooms is pretty packed solid. There's a fenced off area to the west of the wildlife reserve that I understand there's a maintenance facility there that maybe you could store it there. Is there a way we can get a commitment from
Oh,
the
it's
city?
the cricket field. They have a little fenced area there.
Yeah. Is there a way we can get a commitment? You know, we do a lot of work for the city. Today, Rondell came by and he thanked us for all the work we do and said that it wouldn't look the same unless it's for the Native Plant Society and the volunteers from Polar. doing all the work. So what we're asking is the city just to provide a place for us to store equipment, give us a key, I guess, to that room so we can access it when we need it.
I would have to look into that. If you could send me an email and kind of like a description of what you would be storing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Paola's gonna send you an email.
Good, I'll get
Thank
you,
you.
I'll get you Joshua's email.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, and then just the last thing I just want to say is that I just want to reiterate, we walked around the reserve and surveyed it today. The amount of weeds this year with the interesting rainfall and temperature regime that we've had has created more weeds than I've seen in many years. And the mellow lotus is everywhere, which is a new thing, which we've never seen it quite everywhere before. And of course, the mustards and the thistles are growing to great abundance. You know, without herbicide, there's nothing we can do about the vast stands of poison hemlock that are right adjacent to the trail and look like celery or carrots. You know, wait till you have your first death of somebody, you know, eating the wrong thing, and then it'll become an important issue. There's that, and just the lack of being able to use herbicide, for example, to treat the non-native perennial grasses like harding grass, which is beginning to take hold in our wildlife reserve. It used to be restricted to the south of Burbank. Now it's coming in. So I'm done.
You know, but one thing I've discovered, you guys knew this, but we've got bastard cabbage through that entire area, including what the goats say. And the only reason I found out is I wanted to put in a goat menu on our website. So I went through with my little app and, you know, got the menu for the goats. Anyhow, we have got bastard cabbage everywhere now. And I actually checked on the other side of Balboa, that's still the black mustard over there. But just everything in the model airplane field and in the fields that you guys work in, that it's everywhere.
Yeah, well, all the mustards are bad.
Yeah. Anyhow, that's kind of new. It started appearing in the last, 4 years, 5 years? And it's a major menace in Texas. Aaron, do you have any comments from Bullard?
Just that we had a wonderful habitat restoration on Saturday. Thank you, Paula. We have our Earth Day or Earth Month celebration coming up on April 18th. It'll be from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Lots of community partner exhibits and informational booths. So very much looking forward to that event. And those are our biggest updates.
Okay, and you need to get feeling better. Nareed,
Yes, ma'am.
anything from LA Audubon?
No.
Okay. Kathy, anything from the NCSA?
No, we just, we're looking at that park funding thing too, so that's what other about.
Okay. Dan, RCD.
Nothing from RCD. So we have a new executive director, new district manager just got hired. She's been there about 2 weeks. Her name is Jasmine Reinhardt, and she comes from a park service. She worked for 15 years, last as a supervising ranger for National Park Service.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, San Fernando Valley Audubon. I'll let Mary Ann help me if I'm missing anything. Geez. Goat race. I couldn't believe it was happening till it happened, actually, till I saw goats coming out of the truck. I am evaluating the grazed area, noting a couple things. The goats did not like the stalks on and it's all bastard cabbage. They left about 18-inch stalks. They're resprouting. They didn't particularly like the ragweed. They munched some of the leaves off the coyote bush, but the coyote bush will be fine. We're really pleased with the result. The fire department is going to get us aerial photos of the area. And also the other side, and I'm doing some research on possibly overseeding the bastard cabbage with something else coming up later. I'll run that by you guys at Native Plant. And what else have we got with Audubon? It's been absolute insanity with this going on.
Yeah, we just had a board meeting last night and we were through so much stuff, it was just amazing.
Yeah.
We gotta raise some money pretty soon, we're just handing it out fast and it comes in.
Yeah.
The only other thing I can think about right now is, you may see somebody wandering around in the basin with a blue backpack.
Oh, yeah.
What's happened is Sacramento Audubon partnership with LADL has funded them for 30, for the West Valley to have 30 backpacks, and we have binoculars and
That's your great years.
yeah, Kimball Garrett's book guide to some birds and some other stuff. And they came to our door and asked for the East Valley to get it, so another 30 backpacks got funded last night. So
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That's such a, I saw that in some other communication or somewhere and it was so exciting to see. I hope that somehow other orgs can jump in and fund it citywide, because that's such a.
It's great, and then we did approve a grant to the Raptor project. I need to make some phone calls and get some cashola moved down here, and we funded some other projects. And yeah, we've got our birdathon coming up, and then all the usual bird walks. We do Thursday night at Encino Community Center. We have a lady from the Xerces Society with a program on monarchs, and she's handing out some little milkweed plants. So Thursday night, we'll be there. It's in the Women's Club building around 6:30. It'll also be on Zoom. Check our website. And that's it. Joe, do you have updates on Sierra Club?
No.
Wait a minute, Pat, I have something too.
Huh?
Muriel.
Hi, Muriel.
Hi. One thing I'd like to add to San Fernando Valley Audubon is that we are going to continue our beginning bird walks on second Saturdays through the summer, but they will start at 8 o'clock to avoid the warmer later in the daytime.
Thank you. Okay.
Forgive my absence, I was talking to Marcel a little about the bike path, and one thing that I did mention about the Sepulveda Basin certainly is if they do expand the bike path, to be cognizant of the birds that are inhabiting the smaller basin, rather than the highlights, lowlights for the bike path. But we're a long way from getting the bike path to the full Sepulveda Basin, so we'll see if that gets to that.
Okay. And then we have Marianne subbing for Sierra Club tonight.
yeah, just nothing new except we're still building our programs and like the next few months are still open, but the end of the year is really starting to firm up to be interesting. So September 15th, we've got Josh Jackson, who just published BLM lands, how to enjoy them. Then October 20th, we'll have a presentation by the Professional Trail Builders Association. And they just had a really neat article in National Geographic, so this is all into that.
Okay.
I don't know if it was mentioned while I was outside, this coming weekend is the Shasta Nature Preserve open house.
Okay.
Okay, that's what's.
This is on Saturday.
And no kings.
And location.
There's
There's too much going on Saturday.
I want to address 11 committee members' comments on items not on the agenda.
Glad.
So I put together and have been managing the Sepulveda Basin Wildlife.org website for over a decade, if not longer. And I heard that you guys are putting together another website. So who are you talking about?
Oh, no, the city is doing a website for the whole Sepulveda Basin.
And they will link to ours and elevate our website.
Okay, so there's a member of our committee of the Dawn Patrol. This woman got involved and she really thinks we should have a little card that you can hand out with a QR code so they can donate, so they can find out. Right now, our email is George's email. Now, I said, well, wait a second here. We have info@SepulvedaBasinWildlife.org and volunteer at. So I sent myself an email, and it says, cannot failure to send. So I called GoDaddy and I found out that our email account expired in 2024. And somehow they didn't notify me, or I didn't know what it was. And so I re-signed up again. It's going to cost us $132.84. Well, so
Thank
I'm
you.
submitting
I'll
that.
get that over to Paul.
I'm submitting that to you. And okay, so that's good. So I know that, now that I think about it, I have not been getting any referrals for the last 2 years, apparently. So hopefully this will.
To keep that, or, one alternative would be, we could very easily create a free Google account that's like Sepulveda Basin.
I already have this and it's done.
You already did it? Okay,
It's done.
great.
And it's been done in the past.
And what is it? What's it?
It's just info@SepulvedaBasinWildlife.org.
Oh, is it a separate inbox you have to log into, or it's
No,
forwarded to you?
I can forward it to anyone. So for right now, I'm forwarding it to me.
We're gonna forward to multiple people.
Yeah,
I can forward it to multiple people.
but then you need
that
to
would
be
get-
responding.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we're just,
It's, if you're able to,
for
it's not
the
like
one or two you get every 6 months,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's not a big deal.
Yeah, so the thing with the overall city one, it should be a clearinghouse for street closures, events, this,
I see.
hopefully we should have a page or something. That's why I keep asking about it, because I don't know what they're doing.
right. It's also hopefully gonna link to each of the parks.
Each of
The golf course
Right,
has the.
right.
Yeah.
Okay,
All the different
and let me just say one thing. Okay, so this website was put together a long time ago. I put in all kinds of links as they came up. A lot of links go stale. I haven't followed up that much. This next 2 months when I'm in Rhode Island, I'm gonna work on that and try to get the website all fixed up. So all of the links work, and then we'll have to come up with some kind of a regular process to review them every year, because they do go bad after a
Well,
while.
thank you. I wanna say with the website, it might not be the flashiest, but it is the most comprehensive.
It is.
Storage of public documents related to the basin anywhere. And
It
it's
really
such an
is.
Important resource, so thank you for maintaining that all this time. The minutes, all that. Anytime I need to look up, wait, when did the committee start and what was our first meeting?
And now the agendas are available through the website too, through the
Okay.
Google thing you guys set up. So
Okay.
we're pretty hip.
Great.
And thank you for supporting it all these years.
Anyhow,
All right.
Let's go.
anyone else got comments? If not, the meeting will be dully adjourned.
Thank you.
4 minutes to spare.
Yeah.
Thank you.
4 minutes. Thanks, Pat.
Okay.
Okay, that was very good.
I'm sorry about the disorganization.
Well, I was gonna help Pat, see if, Pat needed anything else.
Oh, there.
Then you'll